What's up, fellow collectors? Welcome back to the M.I.B. Master Toy Museum. I'll be a curator today. It's more fun, more excitement from the M.I.B. Master Toy Museum. I was just hanging out down here in the museum, taking it easy for a little bit. And guys, I haven't even had my first cup of coffee yet. That's how early it is. That's how badly I wanted to get this this video out to you guys. We're in our second part of our 2003 G.I. Joe carded figures Chronicles, and the first one was met with such positive feedback and great energy that I didn't want to wait on getting the next video out of the 2003 G.I. Joe carded figures Chronicles to you guys. I wanted you guys to be able to get this video as fast as possible. We had some great figures, some great G.I. Joes from the year 2003. Some fantastic G.I. Joes. But the carded figures pretty much went unnoticed. And a lot of it had to do with the branding, with the publicity that the boxed G.I. Joes and the sets got. Let's face it, guys, they got more of the attention, especially from the G.I. Joe Club, who I was a member of for years. So a lot of these carded figures kind of went by the wayside. Not all of them. There were some that were heavily promoted, but for the most part, the majority of these guys went fairly, unnoticed in the public's eye. And you would go into Walmart or Target, or even Toys R Us, KB Toys, and you would see these guys, on the shelves, on the pegs, hanging on the pegs. But that wasn't, that wasn't the end all be all of the G.I. Joe carded figure. The G.I. Joe carded figures had fantastic figures. I mean, they produced a lot of fantastic figures. Some that you probably would recognize, and some you just don't. You didn't even know existed, because that was me. There were a ton of these carded figures I simply didn't hear about, and I had a lot of information and insight. Really had a pulse on what the G.I. Joe community was doing at the time. And a lot of these figures escaped my radar. And here are a few, not all, but a few that kind of got underneath my radar. This guy did not, though. And we'll start with my FBI agent. Get you a blown out shot of our FBI agent. Now, this figure did not elude me. I knew about this figure from the G.I. Joe Club, Collectors Club. They talked about him. A lot of collectors were really excited about this figure. This new carded style of packaging, and we'll show you the back of it, but for the most part, it was a little bit more pricier than your standard G.I. Joe carded figure. I think this was like around $26, $27. He was up there with some of the deluxe figures, G.I. Joes, and rightfully so. He came with a ton of accessories, weapons, equipment, you name it. And he had a lot of cloth goods. they still used the painted molded t-shirts, but they gave him, there's his body vest right here. He's got his FBI cap on, his pistol, glasses there, a couple clips. And this is one of the coolest aspects about this figure. The holster, a real cloth holster that wraps around the thigh holster. Look at the machine gun here. Beautifully done. He talks about those gung-ho grip hands. There's his walkie-talkie. Just so much stuff that came with this that you could just sink your teeth into. Handcuffs. There's this comm mic here. Earpiece. So all that, and then he had another pocket here on his body vest. The logo here. Get you a nice shot of that. Beautifully done. Beautiful head sculpt. That's another cool thing about G.I. Joe. They kept the head sculpts fresh. They had about anywhere between 10 to 15, maybe even 20 different type of head sculpts, over the course of, G.I. Joe's return. So they were always coming up with new head sculpts. And literally, there's a different head sculpt. And to my point, there's a different head sculpt on each one of these G.I. Joes. A different one. To my point. We talked about this card you got here. You got the mission card included. It came with a mission card. Beautifully done. But this card had a I'm getting ahead of myself though. Let me show you this real quick. This is equipment list right here. You can find it on the side. All the beautiful things you would forget about or would be lost if this was not carded, if this was not still mint on card. But the back, I'll get you a shot here, the back of this card. This was a new concept. So the bubble actually wrapped around here, and they taped it with heavy commercial like packing tape to hold this plastic in place. So when you pulled the card off, you didn't destroy the card, so to speak. And I thought that was a cooler way to do it. And this is the only one that has it. Everyone else up here, the rest of these cards are glued to their card. The bubble is glued to the card. This is not. This is taped. And I thought that was pretty cool. And here's the story here. Backstory for the FBI agent. And here he's got to also look out for the jungle tunnel rat. You'll be seeing him. 2003. 2003 was a fantastic year for G.I. Joe. It was also one of those years where it was just really winding down for G.I. Joe. We know that around 2004, early 2005, that would really be the end of the 12-inch G.I. Joe action figure. Hasbro pretty much shut down production for this line. Sadly, I should say. And I've been on record about how I feel about that. I don't understand. I'm reading comments from our last 2003 carded G.I. Joe Chronicles. Reading some of those comments, a lot of people have some great ideas. Just make a few of these guys. I've shared that with some of my viewers and subscribers. Just make four inexpensive carded sets. Wouldn't be tough. Come on, Hasbro. Guys, your thoughts. We want to hear it all. Right underneath this video in the comment section, we want to hear what you think, how you feel about this. Do you have any of these guys up here? Does any of these guys evoke childhood memories for you? I'm talking about these figures like they were created yesterday, and I feel really old now. But for the most part, these guys are nearly 20 years old. And I'm reminded of that constantly when I read the comments, and a subscriber or a viewer will comment and say, hey, I had that when I was a kid for Christmas. And I'm like, oh my goodness. It's been that long, huh? This is, get you a blown out look at this guy right here. Bring him front and center. Our Marine Small Gunner. Another one of my favorites. He's got the digital camouflage. The bony hat here, which is a hard, rubbery material. I would have liked to have seen them, but this is how Hasbro did it. Cut back on money. Cloth goods were very expensive, so they gave him a a rubbery plastic type bony hat. Everything else is cloth goods, though. This is another more deluxe, on a deluxe scale, like our FBI agent. Beautiful head sculpt. The selling point for me was this weapon, more like a rocket launcher of some sort. And here's the weapon here, the projectile that you load into the weapon here. Nice boots on. Like I said, that digital camo. It's got us G.I. Joe, U.S. Marines. Beautiful guys. Digging these guys out of the museum archives, it was just it's a headache, but B, it was fun at the same time. It's a headache because I have to, some of these guys are packed away. They've been packed away for years, and so when I do these videos, I say, oh man, I got to get a better numbering system or something to locate these guys in a museum. But it was fun because it's stuff that I'm pulling out, and you get a chance to see these guys all over again and relive the memories of purchasing them, and what time period it was when when these figures came out. Like I said, this was 2003. I would like to say life was a little bit more simpler then, but as an adult, it never really is. This was a fun period in my life, though, collecting these guys, chasing them down. And this one right here was not on the radar. This Marine Small Gunner, didn't know anything too much about him. I was out, I believe I found him at Walmart or something like that. And this was a pleasant surprise. This is the whole thing about finding these action figures in stores. Being pleasantly surprised. Now everything is pretty much online. Finding this guy now, you'll have to find him a secondary market. Coswell Collectibles is one of my favorite places. Coswell Collectibles, and really eBay is where you'll pretty much find this guy and all these figures now. And that's where they exist at now. And I believe all of these guys you can find. Some are more expensive than others now because of their the fact that I don't know how big runs these guys were made in. I don't think so. I don't think they were heavy runs anyway. Let's turn this guy around. Another cool aspect, they gave you the actual figure posed with the weapon. Really showing you this. And if this didn't entice you to want to purchase this figure, I don't know what would. Finding this, if I were a kid growing up in the 1970s like I did, and I saw something like, I would have lost my mind. I literally would have lost my mind. My parents would have had to drag me out of the toy store if I saw something like this, because it's you want all of them, and that's the natural human element involved, especially with a kid. You want all of these action figures, and as adult collectors, we want all of them. We can't have all of them though, not all at once. So that would drive me crazy, coming here to a toy store and seeing all these figures and knowing that, I can only afford at the time maybe 2, but then there's 4. So you go home at night and you pray that the other 2 is still there. And, that was stressful, fun, exhilarating, all rolled into one. This is the World War II infrared sniper. Extremely difficult to find. Very popular. I don't believe they made a ton of this guy, but at any rate, he's one of my favorites. And you'll probably see him in the next Chronicles. If he's from 2000, I believe he's from 2003. But like this guy's from 2003. But so you'll probably be seeing this in the next one. He's somewhere. I got to find him though. He's somewhere in a museum. Guys, just having fun down here in the museum. Enjoying our 2003 G.I. Joe carded figure Chronicles Part 2. Here's a guy, bring him front and center. Here's a guy that, get your blown out look at him, that immediately caught my eye. If he doesn't catch your eye, I don't know what will, because the selling point for me was this gigantic harness here, this rescue, you can call it. It's like a crate, but it's you put people in it to pull them out of tough situations, to hoist them out. And I'll get the exact name for it for you. But and it extends as well. So you're seeing it here, but it actually, you can pull it out. It extends. You see, it's got the straps here, like helicopters, and they get in there and they'll put the person that's injured or hurt in there, buckle him in, and they'll hoist them out. But this is our rope rescue firefighter, and this was a part of the search and rescue team collection back in the day. Working rope rescue unit. Another deluxe type of a set that you got a lot. This is one of my favorite head sculpts, by the way. Really cool head sculpt. With the iconic scar here on the side of the cheek. Very realistic head sculpt, I should say. Very realistic. He's got his fireman's hat here. When I was a kid, I think every kid wanted to be a fireman. My school field trips to the firehouse. Oxygen, you name it. IV bottle here. It's got the little cord there. Here's the little A little working winch action here, the rope. Once again, just to save on money, you got the molded colored t-shirt, plastic molded colored t-shirt. It's got the pants here. Absolutely beautiful figure, gorgeous figure. Definitely one of my favorites. And I have a lot. Like I said, it's so hard to just pick and choose these days. But seeing this guy again, like I said, it just evokes a lot of great memories for me. Let's turn him around so you can imagine how he's got the colored hands, like the gloves on. Still got the gung-ho grip. Let's say you got, a lot of these figures could really match up with, their deluxe counterparts, the boxed counterparts that went for $30, $40, $50 in some cases. But these are carded figures. I think I paid maybe $24 for this figure. Here's the rope rescue firefighter. Information on him, and there's that. Here it is right here. It's like a basket. Still didn't get the right name for it, guys. Our fighter fire in here. I would love to know the exact name of this mechanism. There's a great shot of him. He's real serious too. Look at him. He's working, guys. He's saving lives. Just, the action poses. Who set these up to take these pictures, and with all of the background, the scenery, everything's just beautifully done. Beautifully done. But you wouldn't know this if you took this guy out and you found him at a flea market without the card. He was loose. And chances are a lot of this stuff is going to be missing. So, 2003. You can also look for Air Force Special Forces. Oh, here we go. So he's got the pants, boots, waist harness, helmet, rescue stretcher. It's a stretcher, guys. Support pulley, suction cup, string, oxygen tank, stethoscope, tongue twister, guys, IV bottle. So it's a rescue stretcher. And it's very intricate too. Like I said, it was the selling point. The whole deal was a selling point for me though. But this was one of the biggest selling points out of this whole set. Was the stretcher here. And you see me moving this guy around pretty easy, but he is very heavy. He's very heavy, and a lot of it has to do with the weight of this stretcher. Guys, your thoughts. Our 2003 G.I. Joe Carded Figures Chronicles continues with part 2 here at the museum. One to go, and we'll bring him front and center because he's the last one. Our underwater demolitions team. Just out on a run at Walmart, doing some shopping one day back in 2003, and I came across this guy. Best part about this, not that he's a fantastic G.I. Joe figure. He was on sale for $9.96. $9.96. There's no way in the world I could pass that up with everything that this guy came with. There's no way I could pass that up. See, they got one here on that's not on his foot, and then they got the other one that's on his foot. Even and this is the smallest card. Put him over here just to get you a blown out look. This is the smallest card of all of them. Not a big card. As you look down in here, it's got the instructions for how to operate the mine here. So it came with a working, get your side shot of here. It came with a working mine. You couldn't beat it. And for all of you hairstylists out there and barbers out there, this head sculpt has to be one of the coolest head sculpts. The intricate detail to this guy's haircut is absolutely phenomenal. Beautiful job, beautiful work. Whoever did the head sculpt and the paint job on this head sculpt, he's got a beautiful haircut here. Any barber would appreciate this head sculpt right here. And that's another thing that I immediately noticed. I said, man, he's just great head sculpt on this guy. You can see the gung-ho grip hands really in action here. He's holding his knife. Breathing apparatus, his goggles. His chest breathing apparatus here. Look at the beautiful machine gun weapon here. The sheath for the knife. Once again, there's the molded black t-shirt. Save that, they could find ways to cut corners. Hasbro did. Keep the price down, but still very, very attractive for the buyer for this figure. Cloth pants, shorts actually. So he didn't have a ton of cloth goods, but he was gonna be submerged in water 90% of the time, especially if you were a kid and you saw this figure. You're gonna want to put him in the pool or at the lake or the ocean, wherever you live at. You're gonna want to put him in water. You want to keep him submerged in water. So not having a ton of cloth goods for this guy is practical anyway, because he doesn't require that. He's going to get wet. He's going to stay wet a lot. So being 90% plastic is perfect. But they did a great job at giving you the illusion that he did have cloth goods on. And got him in here so beautifully displayed. And, it's a part of me wished he didn't have his goggles on, because you could see the face. I could really show you the face sculpt a little bit better. But that's just maybe a small part of me, about 10%. 90% of me is happy that he's displayed like this, because that was a selling point for me, outside of the $9.96 price tag as well. Our underwater demolitions team. And here is a fantastic shot of the back of the box here. You got him with water all on him. He just came out of the ocean. Let's get you a year here. 2003. And here is our Desert Operations SEAL, another cool figure that you can also look for. And here's the backstory here on the underwater demolitions team, G.I. Joe. He's a Navy SEAL. Best in the world, right? Beautifully done. Beautifully done. And guys, this is the fun part for me of owning all of these beautiful figures. I can reconnect with my awesome past of really collecting these guys and finding these guys. Great memories. And that's what the M.I.B. Master Toy Museum is all about, guys. Great memories. Great memories for these toys. These toys are no longer in production. They're over. Some of them are over 20 years old. Some of them are reaching that stage. But I just wish we still had these guys, on toy store shelves. Your thoughts, though, guys. We want to hear it all. Right in the comment section, right underneath this video. Tell us what you think. We have more fun on the way. Routine, guys. More big announcements. Stay tuned. God bless. Stay safe. And keep collecting.